Look at this wine. All right, you don't want to miss this video. We're gonna take this, which is fresh mint, and turn it into mint wine. It's a great summertime wine. I love mint. This is spearmint, but you can use any mint. This is gonna be a fantastic video. Make sure you're watching this one because it's easy to make, probably easier than fruit wine. Make sure you're staying tuned and let's get into making this mint wine.
And we know the change will surely come. Baby, one more trip around the sun.
So welcome back to Howtodoneright, the channel that we learn to make wine and other different things. Today's an ugly day. I can't get out and do a travel video like my other channel. I just love a good soft rain. Makes me happy. Today I'm gonna show you one of my summer wines. I've been waiting to make it. I got two of them I wanna show for you, but let's get started in this first one. All right, and when this tea is just right, we're gonna pluck it. It's gonna be mint wine. I got it growing out on my deck, and we're gonna put it together and show you, you can turn anything into wine. This is gonna be a great video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button right there, and let's get right into making this mint wine. All right, if you watch my wine channel, you know what chemicals we need by now, but if you're new, we'll just run down them real quick. We need Acid Blend, Campden Tablets, Yeast Nutrient, Wine Tannin, Pectic Enzyme. I got the Star Sand sanitizer there. And when we go to finish this up, we're gonna have the bentonite and potassium sorbate. And don't forget the yeast. You know I like Red Star, champagne wine yeast. Oh, and you're gonna need sugar for wine. You're gonna need it in the beginning for primary fermentation, and at the end when you go to back sweeten your wine. All right, let's go over some of the equipment you're gonna need. I got a whole equipment video out there. Make sure you watch it. It shows you everything you need for winemaking. But let's just go over what we need for primary fermentation. You know I got a squirt bottle. I love that. We're doing a 1 gallon batch, so I got a 2 gallon bucket there. We got a hydrometer. We got some spoons and cups, a stir paddle, an airlock. All right, if you were here for some of my other wine, I showed you that banana wine, which is one of the cheapest wines I've made. This one's gonna be free because I'm growing it on my deck. All right, you can see what I mean about being an ugly day, but here it is. This is what I started in a pot, mint tea, and we're gonna turn this into wine. Can we do it? So we wanna cut these off here, and we want about a gallon of this stuff. So I'm gonna fill this bowl up with some of this here, and we're gonna take it in and we'll wash it and get it all clean. And mint grows like a weed. This stuff grows very fast. You can put this on your deck and it'll grow, and you can make fresh mint wine. I love to make mint tea. I'm gonna show you that one day. All right, that should be pretty good. Look at this mint. This is a lot of mint, but you can never have too much mint. I actually bought some more at the grocery store, and we're gonna put this in here too. I want it extra minty if I can get it there. So check this bowl. Oh my goodness. Oh, I could just eat this stuff. This is gonna be amazing wine. Make sure you watch till the end of this and part 2, where we're gonna finish it and bottle it. This is about getting it ready for the fermentation stage. All right, for this recipe, for a small 1 gallon batch, we're gonna need 2 pounds of sugar. So let's get that weighed out here. All right, let's get our sugar mixture, simple syrup, going here on the stove. Here's my 2 pounds of sugar, and I'm gonna add about the same amount of water here. And again, we just wanna get this dissolved. This is not an exact measurement, because the exact measurement comes when we test for alcohol by volume. That's where we want to be precise. I'll explain more when we get to that step. Now remember, everything I'm using has been sanitized. I sanitized the spoon here, but now we're just going to give this a stir, and we want this to be completely dissolved. It will be almost to the boiling point, but not quite. You don't want to burn your sugar. So keep stirring this until you hear no more sugar scraping, and it will become clear. All right, you can see bubbles starting to form here. This is what you want. It's crystal clear. I'm not scraping any sugar. Let's turn off the heat, and we just want to let this cool to room temperature. Like I said, I hope you can hear the rain. It's a perfect day to make wine today. All right, so let's get some sanitizer mixed. Again, I use Star San. It's great. We're going to take a ½ ounce and mix it with 2.5 gallons of water. Like I said, that's more than enough, but I use this sanitizer for more than just making wine. I use it to sanitize the kitchen, bathrooms, and so forth. So there's our ½ ounce, and let's just get some warm water added. A ½ ounce will make 2.5 gallons, so we'll need 2.5 gallons of water. Let's get our equipment added to our sanitizer. I didn't mention this, but 2 spoons, it's great for crushing the Campden Tablet. Measuring spoons, we got some measuring cups in case we need those. The stir paddle, we're making a 1 gallon batch, so we got one that will stir the 1 gallon mixture, and this will be used to when we stir in bentonite and so forth. So put your spoon in there. We got our airlock. You got to have one of these. We won't need this part until we actually put it in the secondary, but we'll need the top part. Put them in there. It's funny. I don't know what this thing's called. I should look it up, but it's what you float your hydrometer in to check your ABV, alcohol by volume. I'll show you what I mean when we get to that. Then we got our hydrometer. You want to put that in there. We got to sanitize that. And I don't think I mentioned this, but this is optional. But I find it, especially for these mint leaves, it's going to be so much easier to get the mint leaves out when we get them in the bucket, and then we want to rack it over to the secondary. This will just make your job easier. It's not necessary. I got links to all this stuff down in the description. So if you need anything, go down there and order it. Make sure you're sanitizing your bucket and the lid. We'll put that in there. Here's the bucket. I'll use a cup to sanitize that, but I'll usually throw a cup in here as well to help, get some things that I can't reach, such as the bucket. So put a cup in there too. You'll use that. And get your sprayer sanitized. You'll see I'll use this thing. I'm going to actually fill this up because this sanitizer I will use when I'm stirring my must each day for like 7 to 10 days while fermentation's going. You'll use this thing a lot. I strongly suggest you get some of these too. So there we go. We got our fresh mint, and I got about 1 gallon here. If I had to put, this in some kind of a container, this would fill up a gallon jug perfect. So that's about what you want. Right, now we want to rinse some of these mint leaves. We don't want any bugs in there or anything that's going to contaminate our wine. So we're just going to rinse this, and we'll put it in a strainer. And I'll just make sure that everything is off of this. And I'll just pick through here to make sure I don't see anything. You want to pull some of the dead leaves off too. You don't want them in there. But just kind of fine tooth go through and make sure that there's nothing, dead spots or animals or insects. You want to get all that out of there if you can. So that's what I'm looking for here. So let's get some of our chemicals in. The first thing I'm going to do is add our Campden Tablet. We got 1 Campden Tablet since we're doing a 1 gallon batch. So just going to crush this up, like I said, between my 2 sanitized spoons. Put that in there. The next thing we're going to use is wine tannin, and we need a ½ teaspoon of this. So let's do a ½ teaspoon of the wine tannin, ½ teaspoon. That goes in. And you're noticing I'm putting a lot of this stuff at the bottom of the bucket. I like to do that because then I stir it in after I get my bag and everything in there. All right, the next ingredient is yeast nutrient. We need 1 teaspoon of this. So my half is the only one that fits in here. I'm just going to put 2 halves in there. 1, 2. All right, you're going to need acid blend. We're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of this. 1/2 teaspoon acid blend. Then we need some pectic enzyme. We're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of this. 1/2 teaspoon pectic enzyme. And that's it. All right, let's get this mint chopped up and prepared. I'm going to sanitize my chopping thing here. I got my bowl. I want to sanitize that. We're going to put the finished mint in. And the gutter. Sanitize it. This will not hurt you in its diluted form. It's perfect for this. All right. So here we're going to just do. What we're going to do is we're just going to chop this in little pieces, stems and all. Probably about 2-inch pieces. A lot of this flavor is in the stems. So stems and all go in here. So let's get it all chopped up. Man, if you could smell this, I just want to jump in it. There we go. We got our mint prepared and chopped, which is what we want. It's looking really nice. It smells so good. This is going to be an amazing summertime wine, I promise you. All right, so we are ready to get some of this mint in here. But remember, we got this mesh bag. This bag's a little bit big for this bucket. I just didn't buy a smaller one. So what we're going to do is put this in here. And we're going to get the mint in this mesh bag. Because when we take this out, this mint, this is going to make it so much easier. You're going to get rid of 90% of all the pulp right off the get-go. We could probably rack this one time and it'll be ready. All right. Then what we're going to do is this has some cinching things here, but we're going to cinch it up. But what I like to do is put a twisty tie also. Just make sure that nothing's going to come out. I got my sanitized twist tie here. You can see there's a little spot there that stuff can come out. But if I put this on, it ain't coming out. Just trim off the excess. All right. So let's just put that down in there. Remember, chemicals are on the bottom. Then we got the bag with the mint in. Now we're going to add our simple syrup. All right, here's our cooled down simple syrup. We're just going to pour this right over the bag. Now, from experience, I know about how much water. I'm going to have to fill this up pretty good. All right, so now I just got regular tap water. We're going to add in here. I'm going to at least cover the bag. You want to do this very slowly because you can't go backwards. And we're going to take an ABV reading. Alcohol by volume, and we'll check the ABV and see where it's at. We want to get our wine somewhere probably between 9 and 13%. 12 is ideal for me. You may be different, but 12% is what I'm shooting for. So let's get it stirred in, and then we'll take an ABV reading. All right, I got my sanitized paddle. Remember, the chemicals are down below here. We want to give that a good stir here. I can tell you, we ain't got it near enough water. It may be to the 1 gallon mark, but remember, we're going to probably take out half a gallon of pulp. So we're going to definitely need more water. So we'll get this stirred in, and you can see that that's just some of the chemicals there. A lot of people had a suggestion. Go ahead and pick the bucket up and shake it. My bucket, I'm afraid it would leak. These little cheap 1 gallon buckets are not like my 5 gallon. They're a little more made better than these. So I'm just gonna add a little more water, and then we're gonna take a hydrometer reading. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill my cylinder up here with some of the wine. This thing's sanitized, and I'm gonna try not to make a mess. And then we'll take a reading with this, and we'll drop the hydrometer in there and see where it comes out. We're looking for our ABV. This could be perfect here. So I'll get a close-up of this so you can see it. and get them bubbles out of the way, and we'll see where we're at. All right, remember I said we want to get somewhere between 9 and 12%. And you want to add your water slowly. And you can see I'm right at 10%. It's not where I wanted to be, so I did put too much water. And it's probably because there's not much sugar in the mint that this would be calculating. So 10% actually is going to be a great mint wine. I'm going to let it like that. All right, we're going to just give this one final stir. Now, one thing you noticed, and this is important, do not put your yeast in for 24 hours. This yeast nutrient's going to kickstart it. We're going to kill all that natural yeast with some of the Campden tablets, and that's what we want. We want to use our yeast. That's what we're shooting for here. So in 24 hours, we're going to come back. I'll show you how to put the yeast in, and guess what? We're making mint wine. It starts right now. Let's get the top on. This thing's sanitized. We'll get this on the bucket. And I don't know if you can see that. We want it filled up to where the level is here. So it's about halfway. That's what we want. We'll put this cap on. I'm not crazy about this type of airlock, but all of my other ones are in use. So let's get this on. And we'll talk to you in 24 hours. And like I said, make sure you're keeping a logbook of exactly everything you're using to make your wine. This makes it easy to fall back on when you want to make it again. I put my ABV reading here, all my ingredients, and then I'll put the, the times I've racked it, how much sugar I back sweetened in. A logbook is a necessity. I got a whole video on how to, all your equipment and everything you need to get started. And this is one that you need to have. All right, so it's been 24 hours and we're ready to add this yeast. So let's get this opened up. I got my paddle sanitized, and oh my goodness, you should smell this. So I'm just going to give it a quick stir in here, and we're going to add this yeast. Now, one thing, if you watched any of my other videos, you know I just sprinkle the yeast right on top. No need to put this in warm water or anything. So I'm going to put just about half, 3/4 of a pack. That's all we're going to need for this 1 gallon batch. So I'm just going to push this down a little bit. We gave it a stir, and I just kind of want to get this down into moist so the yeast is touching everything. So we will stir this every 24 hours until fermentation is complete. So let's get the lid on. In 24 hours, we should see some foaming in here. All right, so here it is. It's been 24 hours since I added this yeast. Let's see what we got. Oh my goodness. It smells like mint and yeast, which is what I suspected. You see the foam? That means the yeast is working. That's what we want. This is really gonna be great. I'm loving how it's starting here. The foam. Now, I'm not going to show you this whole process here of this thing fermenting. This is going to take 7 to 10 days. I will check back in here each day, every 24 hours, give it a stir. When this foaming starts to go down, I'll take a reading. We want to get the ABV down to 1.0. That means if we get to that, when we started, if you remember, it was at 10% ABV. So if we get down to 1.0 specific gravity, that's what we'll finish with, a 10% alcohol by volume on this wine. So this is looking good. We'll get it covered up. All right, so it's been fermenting for about 8 or 9 days, and we want to check it out. I want to see if the foaming has stopped and if it's ready to be tested. And that's what I'm going to use here as a gauge. You can see here, I don't see any foam in here any longer. I'll just give it a stir. I got my sanitized paddle. Yeah, you can see there's, some bubbles, but that's just for me stirring it. I think we're ready to test this and see where we're at. All right, I got a sanitized cup here, and I'm just going to fill this cylinder here so we can float our hydrometer and see where we're at. Let's get the hydrometer in there. Now, I expect this to get down to 1.0. That's where I'm expecting And then I know from experience that it is totally ready to get to the secondary. And it looks like, I'll get you close up here, but I think it's done. It is perfect to get ready to move to the secondary. All right, so here's what we got. We got our 1 gallon jug, and then up above it, we've got our 1 gallon of mint tea. Let's get it into this 1 gallon jug and see what it's gonna look like. All right, so we got everything is sanitized here. We're gonna get this siphon going and we're gonna get this racked in here. I'm not gonna touch this bag because I want it to, I don't want to force any of the pulp or anything that just might happen to be in there. Look at this. You can see that we got the siphon going. Everything's going in down to our 1 gallon carboy. We're going to get this filled up and racked. I may have to tilt this to get every speck out of it because I want to get this up to about the neck. And that's what we're shooting for. All right, this is exciting. And I wanted to show you this. I took the bag out. And because of the leaves, I squeezed it a little bit to get some more of that juice. And I think I'm going to have enough to put an extra quart. Let's rack this. So here it is. We just finished racking. You can see I got my gallon and we got the extra quart, which is going to come in handy when we go to filter and rack this. And we got to take some of this. You'll see in the next video, there'll be a lot of dead yeast down here, and this will come in handy as we whack it and to top this off and get it to where we want. But I can't wait for you to see the next video where we're gonna finish this mint wine. We're gonna rack it, we'll add our bentonite for filtering, and then we're gonna bottle it. And then after that, we're gonna taste this. I can't wait for you to see that too. This is gonna be an amazing wine. It's easy to make. And it's probably easier with fruit because when you take the leaves out, there's nothing left. So this is going to be quicker too. I think we're only going to need 1 racking. We'll see after 30 days what it looks like and how clear. See you next time. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button up there. So much more wine stuff coming your way. See you soon. Till next time. I just finished it up. We're going to let it sit for 30 days and then we're going to get back to this and show you what it's going to look like and taste like. Mint wine.
And we know that